Hello everyone, welcome to sqadia.com. Today the topic of our lecture is identity of the human remains. Now, personal identification is basically a subject of special interest for all the forensic experts that are dealing with different, even with the living or the dead personal identities of the persons. Now, in these, basically, the first section that we'll be dealing with is why is it important to identify a person? Now, the identity of a person is basically established on certain characteristics. The characteristics which are useful to identify are discussed in the first section. Then the skeletalized remains. Now, the skeletalized remains are basically we do not basically get a body in a very cosmetic conditions always. So even if we get a skeleton, the personal identity of that person can be maintained through this. The identification of the DNA characteristics, the identification of the skeletalized remains, and the categorization of the skeletalized remains is very important whenever we get a dead body in that condition. Thirdly, in the third section, basically, we'll be discussing the determination of the sex of the person. Now, it is very important to establish a sex of the dead body. Or even in the living, there are some certain cases in which the sex is ambiguous. So the skull, the sex characteristics of the pelvis, and the sexing from the sacrum or the long bones is used to get a determination of the body. Now, in the fourth section, we'll be dealing with the estimation from the skeletonized remains. So sometimes we get only some of the bones of the dead body, and how are we going to get, or how are we going to establish the personal identity even through these fragments of bones? That is very important. Any signs of the pregnancy, the estimation of the sutures, and the estimations of the age is very important. In the fifth section, we'll be dealing with the determination of the age of the person. So the age of the person can be determined by a lot of factors. The fetus or the infant, the child and the young adult can be distinguished even by the, if we even get a skull, even if we get even the mandible of the person isolatedly, and the age estimation in the later ages. So even in the old ages, there are a lot of characteristics that are peculiar for that age, and we can establish the age of the person even by finding a single bone or even a fragment of the bone can indicate towards particular age of the person. So I hope you are interested in learning about identity of the human remains and how is it established. Do watch the other sections of this lecture as well.